Hi, welcome back to the channel. I am going to do something a little bit different today. So, the idea of this channel was initially having the audience hang out with me as I paint and live my life as an artist. And you just basically stay for the good vibes and the aesthetics. And the bonus being me giving people notes about mindfulness and small ways to boost your mental health. But as I create content, I'm still trying to figure out the best way to present my ideas to you. And I have a category of videos that are cinematic, aesthetic types. And then there's a subset of videos like this where we're just going to casually hang out like you're hanging out with your big sister. And so that's what we're going to do today. We're just going to hang out. You probably have seen this particular model Lego set in a lot of my videos and in my posts online. It's a Porsche 911. It's a model that comes in two ways. You can build it as a hardtop and as an open top convertible. And when I built this about 2 years ago, I built it with a hardtop. And I'm going to try to take it apart today, the top part, and then redo it as a convertible. So you get to hang out with me while I'm doing that and then just chat about life and everything else in between. So yeah, I hope you guys have been doing well. Summer has gone by, I want to say a little slow for me this year. I've mostly been focused on work and then trying to launch this channel and coming up with ideas and ways on how to show you bits and pieces and things that are part of my day-to-day life. And yeah, so I've been kind of consumed with that. But it's a new challenge for me as I use video as a medium to express myself. I normally express myself through paint and canvas. That's how I tell my stories. That's how I convey messages to my audience. And so this way of communicating is new for me, and it's really, it's been challenging. It's been an incredible learning experience. It has definitely challenged me in a good way to use my creative mindset in a different manner, and it's been fun. I'm learning as I go, learning camera angles, lighting, video editing, and all sorts of stuff. All that in between all by myself. So as you continue to watch this channel grow, and you'll see that the videos kind of shift a little bit here and there, and that's just me trying to infuse knowledge of things that I've learned about videos and stuff like that. So bear with me as I continue to grow. So yeah. What else? I'm thinking about, in particular for me, why I am the way I am and how I've evolved over time through different challenges and different phases of my life, and how those challenges have put a strain on my mental health in some way, and how I would find ways to dig myself out of it. I know for some of you, whether you deal with this or not, we all hit different ebbs and flows of our lives, and they become challenging. And how do we get ourselves out of that? If you're someone like me who doesn't have a solid support system or a lot of people to lean on, finding things that support you in the best way is a challenge. But I'm here to tell you that it's possible, and there's things that you can do to boost your mental health. Small things, little things, day to day things that you do for yourself, showing up for yourself, and the consistency, all of that matters a lot. And so I hope that you stick around so that I can continue sharing these little tidbits of helping yourself, finding ways to feel better and to keep hanging on and to keep doing what it is that you love. So, yeah. What else did I want to say? Oh, so I noticed that there's been a huge focus on, particularly in social media, people talking about MBTI types, right? And MBTI testing has been around forever. And if you were born and raised in the US like I am, MBTI types is something that you've been familiar with, you've already had experience with it. And actually, I had been tested professionally back when I was in high school. So I already knew what my type was early on. But as I had gotten older, went through different life experiences and gone through so many different things, I have found myself retaking that test and finding the result to be a little different. And I went from being, I'll give you a few seconds to try to guess my MBTI type. So, my MBTI type back when I was in high school and I was younger was actually an INTJ. And as I gotten older and went through some really tough life experiences, sudden losses of really good friends and people, graduating college, getting corporate jobs and so forth, my type ended up changing. And I have now changed from an INTJ to an INFJ. I think at times, I believe that the F and the T part change up depending on the scenario. Sometimes I end up using more of my logic to approach something as opposed to the way I feel or the way I want to feel about something. So it comes up. I don't really think I'm a solid T or an F. I think I'm somewhere in between. But for now, I'm going to label myself as a INFJ, somewhat evolved in a way. But yeah, it's interesting seeing this come up in social media and how it's like a craze outside the US now. It's everybody's like, what's your type? What's your type? You know, are you a T? Are you an F? That sort of thing. So, yeah. As an INFJ, let me tell you a little bit more about myself as you here hang out with me and get to know me a little bit better. And definitely a strong I, although I get confused by people as an E because I come off as very friendly and approachable and bright, and when people come and talk to me, I'm very friendly and talkative. But I think I'm what you considered a extroverted introvert, an ambivert actually, where I have a very small social battery. And that means I only have a capacity of like this much, and it drains very quickly. And so as much as I like having connections and talking to people and having deep conversations about different things, I tend to find myself being really drained very quickly and then having the need to be alone for a little bit to kind of recharge, to center myself and to bring myself back so that I can do this again. So for anybody out there who understands that, please comment and let me know that I'm not the only one like this, because it makes it challenging. It really does. It makes it challenging to socialize with new people, to meet new people, to hang out with friends. I can definitely be very extroverted and fun when I'm with a group of people or with several people that I know intimately, that I've known for a long time. My battery doesn't run out as quickly and I can maintain it longer. But with new people, new crowds, new faces, new scenarios, I find myself running out rather quickly. Yeah. And so it's, I wouldn't say it's a good or bad thing. It's definitely something I'm aware of, and I know what my limits are. And I'm trying to find the best scenarios that makes it easier for me to fit in when I know that's what I'm looking at in terms of energy and just sociability and all that stuff. But yeah, extroverted introvert is what I am. What else? The J is interesting. I know that people label the J part as being very rigid, very the types of people who plan ahead of time, the people who are always on top of things. And there's definitely that part of my personality that sticks out quite a bit, is that I do strategically plan for things that really do matter to me. For example, work, if there's a schedule, if there's meetings, if there are anything related professionally, I am definitely on top of. The type to arrive early, never late to anything. But yeah. But for instance, let's say I go on vacation. That's where things start to shift for me, because I feel like once I get into relaxation mode, I don't feel the need to plan. I simply book the ticket, book the hotel, and just go. Go without any plans, no reservations, unless I really, really want to go somewhere in particular that needs an advance reservation of some sort. But other than that, I like to be open. I like to be able to just do things as I feel like doing them, like just waking up and being like, okay, I have the energy today, let's go for a really good hike, or if it's camping, if it's whatever. Yeah. So I guess it depends what the scenario is. That's where my J starts to kick in, and I want to have a little bit more control and make sure that I'm on top of everything and everything's executed well. But there are other parts of me where I just know through experience that planning just doesn't matter, and I'd rather live in the moment and enjoy things as they come. Especially because I know that as I've gotten older, my time with people has become a little bit limited. As people get older, when you graduate university, and then you start your first jobs, and then you start climbing that corporate ladder or building, that path for yourself. Eventually people start to meet significant others and start to have families, and then they move on and they build their own life. And when you're kind of like finding your way through life, or still figuring out what it is that you want out of life, it's interesting to see where people end up prioritizing their time. So for me, I know that time becomes precious, and so then that's why I don't plan as much. And then I take the moments as they come, whether it be with people or alone, wherever it is, and whatever I may be doing. I tend to focus on being in the moment and then enjoying that and trying to remember that moment when things are a little bit harder, a little bit more stressful, a little bit more tiresome, or when you're at a point where you feel not as hopeful. that's when I try to remember these moments where I worked really hard to feel good. So yeah, but let's try to build this little set, all the pieces. It's been a while, so I don't know. Yeah, what else can I tell you about myself? I live here in Los Angeles alone. I don't have any friends or family in LA, but I've been here for approximately 14 years now, give or take. Yeah, about 14 years. I'm originally from the East Coast, and LA is now home. This is all that I know. I love it here. There's definitely a lot of pros and cons, especially if you're not used to living in a large metropolitan type city. LA is tough. LA can pretty much beat you up and spit you out if you're not used to it. It's a tough place. But yeah, I like it here, and I'm looking forward to traveling a little bit more in the future and spending a little bit more time outside of the city. So hopefully I can include some of that in my upcoming vlogs for you guys to see. Yeah. What else? You may be wondering how it is that I got into art specifically, or became a full-time painter. I don't have an education in art. I did not have a university degree in art history or art restoration or anything like that. I was interested, but I didn't. I ended up getting a degree in something completely different. I ended up spending years climbing the corporate ladder just like everybody else, getting jobs, becoming a supervisor or manager, managing teams, and then, doing things that just didn't make me feel good inside, things that, I don't know how to explain it, but just made my soul happy. So, several years ago, before the pandemic had started, just right before the pandemic had started, I had gone through a particularly tough transition. It was a closed chapter of my life, and I was at a point where I wanted to decide what it was that I wanted to do going forward. Do I want to do what I had always done, or did I want to take a risk and do something completely different? And I chose the risk. And it was scary. I don't have a mentor. I don't have anybody to guide me, give me any advice, to kind of help set the pitfalls for me. I kind of just threw myself in and said, all right, let's just go. I really had nothing to lose. And so as I began this path, a lot of things around the world had transpired and changed my initial plans. And so I kind of went with it. During the pandemic, when everybody was in lockdown, I was making artwork that was being placed in homes that were staged for resale. And that worked out for me for a little while. And I made large scale pieces that were 2 meter by 2 meters, sometimes bigger. And then depending on the style of the home, I would just make whatever it was, soft muted landscapes, abstract things. it would just cater to the home. So then I was making art just to make a living, sell some paintings, and kind of get my start that way. And it evolved into me making, being more concentrated in making artwork that mattered more to me, and how I wanted to tell my stories about whatever the case may be, whatever the theme was. I started focusing more on my own individual style as opposed to making things that fit for other people. It's something that I still do. I still take commissions for custom pieces, depending on what it is that people need. They just reach out to me through email or through social media, and I end up taking those requests and making whatever it is that they want. But as I'm sharing more and more of these vlogs with you, you're going to start to see more of my personal style and more of my inner voice coming through these canvases with paint. I wouldn't say the style is exactly set just yet. I feel like as I'm going through personal experiences in life, and as I'm experiencing good things and bad things, I'm shaping the way I want to tell those stories. And so I want to say that style isn't completely set. It's evolving a little bit. But I'm happy to share that with you through videos, so now that you can witness that as I grow. And yeah, it's an exciting part. It's challenging as I'm learning to use my voice in a different manner. And on top of that, I'm also learning to share everything that I do with this audience in front of a camera. So I feel as though I'm being stretched and growing in so many different directions, in so many good ways, and I'm happy to share that with you. And at the same time, I want to be realistic and talk about things that are hard too. So as some of the videos remain aesthetic and fun and more about the process and painting and so forth, I also want to use videos like this to talk about things that I become challenged with, things that I don't know, things that keep me up at night, that keeps my mind running, that keeps me questioning if I'm doing things in the right manner. Not that if I don't really know if I'm doing it right or wrong, but if I'm moving along at all, if I'm moving in the direction I need to go. So I think about that a lot. So those are the things that I want to share with you guys as well. So, there are ins and outs, ups and downs, and I want to share all of those things as a realistic view of not just me as a painter, but as a person, a human being going through so many of these experiences. I know I can't possibly be the only person that goes through these things and feels these things. I know that there has to be at least one other person out there that feels this way, and they too may feel a bit lost or a little bit out of hope, or sometimes just really tired of struggling. And I don't want somebody to feel alone in that sense. So if you do, please come here and find me and let me know in the comments if there's something in particular that you would like to talk about, or wonder, or think about, or would just like to share but don't have a place for, or have anyone to share with. That's what this channel is for. That's what I wanted to build for myself, is a community where we can talk about the things that are hard without feeling burdened or feeling like we're a burden to anybody in particular. So yeah, it's a very open and free space. Say what you want to say, share if you want to share, and if not, if you want to quietly just hang out with me as I paint, as I do things in my home, as I live my life day to day, do that. I will love the company. I'm so happy that you're here and sharing this experience and all of these experiences with me. All right, that's a lot of rambling. I'm going to try to build out this hard top. If I can remember how to take apart these pieces. But yeah. By the way, if any of you have some mellow, lo-fi, really chill type playlists on Spotify that you would like to share with me, please, please, please do. I'm always looking for different playlists to have in the background as I work and as I paint. So I would love to have some new ones. Send those to me. I don't remember how I put this together. That was gonna be hard. Ah, okay. Looks like it's about paper. Okay, so I have realized that maybe I should have looked at some YouTube tutorials before I started this, because the way this set was started, there are bags that are numbered 1 through 12, and bags 10 and 11 were for the convertible top, and then the bags 8 and 9 were for the hard top, which is what I built. And it looks like in order to undo the hard top and then build it as an open convertible, I need to take apart some of these other parts that I don't remember how I built in order to create different pieces. And so that's going to take me more time than I realize, because there are some pieces in here that I need that I have to take apart. It's going to be a lot harder than I expected. This is going to be a continued video for another day. We will build this set another time, but thank you so much for joining me and listening to my stories and rambling on about myself, about random things today. So it's been fun. I hope you stick around. I hope you come back. I hope you join me again for more videos. I'm definitely working on other aesthetic painting videos that are coming up, so keep an eye out for that. Thank you for joining me, and let me leave you with this reminder that when things are a little bit hard, come back here. Come back here and look for me, and I hope that these videos provide you with a little bit of comfort, and that you remember that you are not alone, and that when things are hard, I hope somehow that you find it within yourself or through the encouragement that I share through these videos to keep going. It doesn't matter if you go slow. It doesn't matter if you go on anybody else's timeline. You do what you need to do on your own as best as you can, because you're doing more than enough. So that is my little note and reminder for you today. I hope you have a really good week ahead. I hope you find something small that you enjoy. And if something here that I talked about today or in any future videos resonates with you in some way, tell me. Please tell me. That means a lot. I'm glad you joined. I'm glad that you found something here. That means a lot to me. So I will talk to you soon, okay? And hopefully we can hang out again and finally build the set as I wanted it to build. So thank you. Bye.